When we're talking business, you're probably aware that there's a big hype around the need to constantly have prospects and leads and lead generation. And what that has done over the years is create an ecosystem where business owners have detached from what it means to actually build a relationship with consumers. Welcome back to another episode of No Brands Land. I'm Ashley Rodriguez, the host for this channel, and today I want to get into a little tiny bit of consumer psychology, especially in regarding marketing. I'm doing a massive presentation on this topic for Small Business Austin Week. I did a recording on this for my own course for my media company, and I really just want to get practical here. I want to make sure that I'm still offering really practical tips and factual information for marketing and business. Now, when we're talking business, you're probably aware that there's a big hype around the need to constantly have prospects and leads and lead generation. And what that has done over the years is create an ecosystem where business owners have detached from what it means to actually build a relationship with consumers. This worked perfectly for the last decade, 2 decades of our lives, where our consumers really, or our audiences really didn't care too much about being related to. They just kind of wanted the simple straight shooter facts, and they just wanted to know what you did. Is it convenient? Is it good for them, right? Now we're moving into an era where audiences are just kind of wanting the real deal. They're wanting specifically the relationship side of working with brands. So what does that mean? When we're looking at an online buyer, they tend to take a clustered route to purchasing from businesses. And that just means that they're engaging with businesses on several platforms, several different channels before they're actually making a purchase. Even personally for myself, I have companies that I follow because I enjoy their content, I support what they're doing, but I just haven't had a need for their product or service yet, but I'm still a follower, right? So I'm still engaged with their brand. I'm still supporting in that way, even though I'm not ready to make a purchase yet. Where this becomes really crucial for businesses today is that when I am ready to make a purchase for a certain product or a service, I know exactly where I'm going to go. I know exactly who I'm going to buy from and when, or where, when that time comes. So that is the power of tapping into and nurturing relationships as a business. When you call people real human beings, when you call them leads, you're kind of detaching from the importance of building that relationship and nurturing it. And so what I propose when I talk about ethical marketing or I talk about sustainable marketing strategies, I always work with clients and let them know from the very beginning that you want to consider those leads relationships. So get rid of the word leads, get rid of the word prospects, right? We know that that's what they are. We don't have to call them that. The reason is because that's going to give you a quick mindset shift. It's going to allow you to shift your perception of these people just enough to actually motivate yourself to care about handling that journey a little bit differently. So instead of saying how many leads did we get today, we can instead say something like, how many relationships did we start today? How many relationships did we nurture today? If we're looking at retention, how many relationships did we keep today? Or did we save today? Right? So it becomes this ecosystem now when you do this quick mindset shift where you actually treat your customers and your audiences like real human beings who you are building relationships with through your business. It seems like it should be common sense, but unfortunately, the industry of marketing and business has made it really difficult to do that. We've lost touch with the fact that we are human beings that need connection, that thrive on connection, and for some reason, that just has not translated very well into the online space, into the business space. There are businesses that get it, but mainstream overall as an industry, we're seeing a lot of lack here. The companies that have really maintained the importance of what it means to have relationship are our local businesses, our brick and mortars, our home service businesses who know that they thrive on word of mouth and community awareness, right? So take that as an example. When you are in the online space, look at our small local business functions and their roles in community and try to emulate that in the online space. Now, very similar or along the lines of what I had mentioned with online buying, there's a very different process to making a purchase from the perspective of psychology and relationship building for brick and mortar businesses or local businesses. And the difference is that there really is more of a focus on being an image or a front-facing representation of your company locally. What are you doing with and in your communities? How are you engaging or making your community better? It really does become this personal experience where the community cares, or they'll give you word of mouth, or they'll give you referrals, or if you're struggling as a business, they'll pitch in together to help support you because of your community engagement. So a little bit of a different approach, a little bit of a different buyer process for consumer psychology, but still, again, based in relationships. Very important. And I'll just leave you with this one nugget of advice. If you're going to use your marketing strategy to bring more people in, to build more relationships, I highly suggest avoiding loss aversion like the plague. Avoid it. Don't even use it unless it's a true scarcity or limited item. Never use loss aversion. We don't want FOMO. We don't want to trick people into buying because they think that it's the only time it'll be this price ever. Unfortunately, too many people have been burned in the process, including myself as a consumer. We're all consumers. And so I recommend avoiding loss aversion as a tactic. The only time you should use urgency or a sense of limitations, there's a limited item or there's a limited time frame for this to be available, only use those when it's true. Right? Like a seasonal sale or items that are being discontinued or something else that's going to make it limited and they truly never will get it again. But otherwise, avoid loss aversion, because what it does is it starts your relationship with somebody out of fear. And what that does is it hurts your retention on the other side. So remember when I talked about, did we start a new relationship? Have we maintained and nurtured that relationship? How many did we keep, or how many did we save, right? How many relationships were we able to really connect with and keep all together? When you start to think about it that way, it naturally starts to make sense. You would never start a friendship out of fear, be my friend or else. It just doesn't make sense. That's not how we operate as people, as social beings. And so we should absolutely ditch it in the online space. Yes, it gets you sales, but it starts that initial sales function or that initial sales interaction from a place of fear. Now, what happens to that is if they truly didn't like the product or the service, or maybe it was way out of their budget and something else goes wrong in their life, even though they should take personal accountability for that purchase, it's more likely that they're going to blame you as the company for making them feel pressured to make that purchase. That is just the reality. It's called buyer's remorse. We are all familiar with it. We've all made purchases that were just slightly too much at slightly the wrong time. And like I said, even though we should have personal accountability, it's a lot easier to blame it on the person that pressured you or the company that pressured you. So just avoid that altogether. What'll end up happening is you're going to burn your customers and they're just going to leave. They're going to badmouth you. They're going to have such a poor taste in their mouth about the way that you did business because you started that initial interaction on fear. And we're moving into a place now collectively as a society where people just they're not interested in that. They're not interested in more fear and more scarcity mindset. They just want to know, do you care? Do you have a solution? Is it convenient? Is it right for me? Cool. Like, am I ready to purchase? Yes. Maybe not now. I'll come back another time. But for the sake of everything, do not trick your customers into engaging with you from a place of fear. If this video was helpful for you, it was just a really tiny snippet of an overall hour-long presentation that I actually give on consumer psychology with all kinds of visuals and all fun things. If you like this kind of content, please stick around. It really helps more than you know. Give me a follow, a subscribe, or share with somebody that you think this can benefit. Again, this was just a quick overview on consumer psychology, and you can find more content like this on my page. I have different playlists, including an energetic spiritual one if you kind of go that route with business. I do talk all about humanizing business here. That is all I do. And so if you like the idea of that, then I encourage you to stick around. If you've been here before, thank you for coming back. I appreciate you. I see you. Feel free to leave me comments or messages or engage with my posts, because right now I have the time to do it. I have the time and the capacity because we're just starting here, and this channel is at the very, very infant stages of what it actually will become in the near future. So thank you again for being here, and I will see you in the next video.